with over 3,000 deaths this year alone. The numbers of migrants making the hazardous journey across the Mediterranean are increasing daily. As Syrians and Palestinians fleeing conflict risk everything for a safe haven in Europe, Al Jazeera World follows those who've lost relatives, suffered tragedy, and had their families torn apart, wave upon wave, on Al Jazeera.
Australia's decision to send asylum seekers to Papua New Guinea is breeding hostility and fear. 101 East investigates why tensions are escalating between refugees and the people that call this Pacific island nation home. 101 East on Al Jazeera.
Today, we want to talk about how Korean reunification might actually work and the potential impact it could have on people in the region.
A most preferred scenario is a soft landing scenario where North Korea adopts a China-style economic reform, and that leads to a peaceful reunification of the Korean Peninsula. But most likely scenario, I do believe, will come from regime instability that leads to regime implosion, and then leads to regime instability, and then to unification.
Who's driving this desire for reunification?
The older generations, of course, they feel more connection to North Korea.
Yeah.
A lot of them, if you're over 70 or over 80, you might even have direct relatives, brothers or sisters, or even parents that are still in North Korea that you were divided, even at the point of the Korean War just over 60 years ago. But as you get younger and younger, especially into the 20s now, actually it seems that fewer than half of people in their 20s actively support the concept of reunification.
We've seen in post-reunification Germany, and indeed in a number of East European countries, the old Communist Party, the Ceausescu's got strung up in Romania. But then sometimes we see a party come back. I wouldn't be at all surprised in a hypothetical unified Korea if the Workers' Party of Korea, currently of course monopoly ruling party, enforcer and everything, might become the regional party of the North, because this is the devil you know.
It's not that we push for unification, because we have very little leverage anyway. But we still must prepare for unification. We have to talk to each other. We have to talk to China. We have to talk to South Korea. And in legal, economic, political, in every possible way, prepare for unification, because it could happen. And no one can disagree with that.
Aidan Foster Carter, the timeline for you, could it really happen? What's the timeline? Just very briefly.
Maybe 2030, but maybe even not by then.
Okay, all right. Giving yourself a little bit of leeway there.
I will never say never.
Never say never. Sakil Park?
Well, I'm not going to give a date, and also I'm going to say that reunification is maybe not inevitable either. However, what I do think is inevitable is that North Korea will change and it will open up, because there are these long-term trends that are playing out, both economic and information trends that are happening on North Korea's borders and also inside North Korea, that I think make North Korea unsustainable with its current kind of structure of oppression.